Okay, now in this video we are going to do this Active Directory basics room from the TryHackme. So let's get started. So this is introduction and you can read this in this website. So basically we are going to learn about this Active Directory. So Active Directory is like a phone book and also it's a database to store all the information of your computers and domain controller, etc. So every information will be stored as a form of database. So the Active Directory can be of two types. One is the physical and another is the cloud. So we can mainly focus first on the physical Active Directory and then we can move on to the cloud. So here we have the definition of the domain controller. So domain controller is like administrator computer which manages everything in your organization. It holds the ADDS, directory services, data store, handles authentication and authorization services, replicates updates, and allows admin access to manage domain resources. So with with the domain control, you can control almost every device on your network. So this ADDS data store contains this file and ntds.it. So this is the database, and this is we cannot copy the file onto, or we can export our file because it will be continuously used by the Active Directory. So there are some methods to extract this, but we can talk about the methods in the later videos. And this is stored in the system root and entities folder, and it can only accessible by the domain controller. So those are that is about the ADDS data store, and you can see here the questions: what database does ADDS contain? That is ntds.it, and the location is this one, system root and ntds. And what type of machine can be domain controller? That is Windows Server. Normal Windows versions cannot be act as a domain controller. Only server editions of the Windows can be act as a domain controller. And coming to the forest, so the forest is a collection of domains. So if you have one domain, that domain contains your computers, users, printers, servers, etc. So all that comes under one domain. So if I have a CSE college, so college containing the CSE department, so one department contains one domain, and in the same college we have ECE department, and that ECE contains another domain. So holding all this together comes under one forest. So this forest is the top of the hierarchy, and these domains comes under this forest. So it is highly advisable to give to put only the one forest across all the operations. So that is about the forest. So we have the trees and domains and organization units. These are like containers. You can also add the groups, computer users, etc. And objects, domain services, domain schema. So here are the questions. You can read this theory and you can answer these questions. What is the term for hierarchy of domains in network? First I thought it root, but it's tree. So similarly you can answer these questions. So coming to the users and groups, so users, you can create the users so that your users can log on onto the client machines in your college. So why you want groups? So you can also group particular type of students into one group. Suppose you have a class of 100 members. If you want to change the setting of the one user, of all users, you cannot do manually. So what you can do is you can group all the 100 students into one group, and you can change the group setting so that it will be applied to all of the users. So that is the usefulness of these groups. You can see the the types of users: domain admins, service accounts, local administrators, domain users. So normal users comes under this category. And you can also read the default security groups. There are a lot of theory over here. You can read and answer them: domain controllers, domain guests, users, computers, etc. So all these questions related to this theory. And trust and policies, if you want to access the resource in another domain, you need the trust relationship between these domains. So that trust is two types: directional and transitive. Direction is also called like one-to-one trust and relationship. Suppose if two domains are in the directional trust relationship, then they can directly access the resources. There is another method, that is trans to. That means if there are, suppose say, three domains A, B, C. So if A trusts B and B trusts C, then automatically A will trust C. That is the trans to. So it depends on trans to property. So this is somewhat we should put this trans to trust very carefully. And you can also see the domain policies. Policies are like rules how the server operates. So you can also see the domain services, LDAP, certificate ADCS, AD certificate services, and the naming system. So DNS, LLMNR, and NBTNS. So there is a drawback for this NBTNS, that is we cannot give the fully qualified domain name. So that's one thing one thing to remember. And you can also see the authentication, domain authentication using Kerberos or NTLM. So these are the questions related to this theory. And AD in the cloud. So there are some differences. This Azure AD also uses some physical AD in the background, but it will use the like cloud and Azure Active Directory as a middleware between the users and the physical Active Directory. So you can see the differences: Windows Server AD and Azure AD. So in its LDAP protocol and the REST APIs. So you will send the REST API and then it will process that API request. So you can manually design the REST API, but that's about the web development. Okay, NTLM, the security mechanism, it's OAuth or SAML. So this SAML also allows the single sign-on. So and the Kerberos is equivalent to OpenID, and OU3 flat structure, domain and forest tenants, trust, and it's also called guest in Azure AD. So these are the questions related to this theory. What is the Azure AD equivalent of LDAP? So if you see this table, you can answer these questions. Now we are going to do this hands-on lab. So I have already deployed the machine and logged into the remote desktop using these credentials, administrator and this password. Okay, they are saying that there is a tool called PowerView. So PowerView is like a post exploitation tool that you can get some much more information using this PowerShell script. So you need to load this PowerShell EP bypass, and then we need to import this. So you can say dot, and then you need to specify the PowerShell script to import the PowerShell module into this your command prompt. So let's go ahead and do that. So I am already in the downloads folder. You can see this is Sharphorn, PowerView, and Mimikatch. So I can just right click, shift press right click, and I get the PowerShell window here. Now what we can do is we can say dot PowerView.ps1. Now all of the functions in this PowerShell script has been imported successfully. Now they are saying some example commands: get net computer, get net user. So okay, we can enter those commands. First let's see what are the questions they are asking. What is the name of the Windows 10 operating system? So of course we know that by GUI, that is this is Windows Server 2019 edition or 2016 edition, but we don't have this confirmation. So let's go ahead and type get net computer. Okay, we have this domain controller and desktop 2, desktop 1. So we have 3 computers in our network. So we need to apply this full data. So let's go ahead and do that. So that option gives the full information about those computers. So you can see the operating system. So now what we can do is we can also pipe the to find str, or we can say select operating system, because there is a column for this operating system. So you can see the three computers are using the respective operating systems. Domain controller is using Windows Server 2019 and remaining two computers are using Windows 10 Enterprise Evaluation. So that is the answer. And what is the second admin name? So this they have given here the cheat sheet, but I did not find maybe I did not search correctly. I did not find this listing all the users. So I have googled about this and I have got some answer, that is get AD group member. So this will import the Active Directory module and then executes the command let. So we need to say the identity, let's say administrators. So I have seen this argument from the MSDN website. So I have googled that and I got this command line, and then the option is administrators. You need to send the administrators as a command line argument. So it's somewhat slow. So we can see there are some admin accounts. One is the SQL service. So SQL service is a admin and admin 2. Domain admins, enterprise admins, administrator. So this is the admin 2 is the another admin. So that is the answer. And which group have the capital V in the group name? So I think it's get get net group. Okay, yes, get net group. So in this we need to filter using this. You can use the find string, and you don't need to include this ignore case, because we need the accurate capital V, right? So if you include the /I, that is ignore case, then you get all the group names with the V in it. So you need to say find str capital V. So hit enter. Now you can see Hyper-V administrators. So that is only the group with the capital V in it. Okay, that is the answer for this. And when was the password last set for SQL service user? So you can use this get net user command. Okay, that's a lot of information. Okay, you can see here the username. So SQL service. So they are asking for the SQL service user, and here you can see the SQL service at the rate controller.docker. So use principal name, and what they are asking is when was the password last set. So here the pwd last set. Okay, now we are going to grep those two. So you can see here SQL service at the controller.docker. You can see 5/13/2020, and this is the time. So at that time we have reset the password. So that is the answer. So guys, that's all for this video. In this video we have learned this Active Directory basics. We have learned some PowerShell commands to get the information after getting the normal PowerShell shell.